see. Should be gone. Do you have the website on? Do you have like the YouTube link on? You don't need to. Maybe if you want to see it real quick. If you want to see what we look like. Bet. What's going on, guys? If you guys are tuning in, appreciate having you guys. We're just doing some last minute logistics and we'll be ready to start. Yeah, Ian, just let me know when you're ready. Where do you see it? Awesome. How's it look? Looks better, right? There we go. All right, let's begin. Welcome back to Ballaholics. We are live. This is our second live, show on YouTube. So really glad to have you guys tuning in. I'm one of your co-hosts, Sam Israel, along with my other co-host, Ian Mills. We're super stoked. We're super excited because obviously the NFL draft, the first round was yesterday. So me and Ian are on. We want to talk some NFL draft. We're also going to get to NBA later, but let's start now with the NFL draft. Ian, what are your quick reactions and what would you say maybe your biggest winners and biggest losers are? Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I was going to start with my winners, but I'll just go right off with your loss because obviously Aaron Rodgers is a loser here, in my opinion. First off, before I go with Aaron Rodgers, I also want to say I thought originally Roger Goodell was going to be a winner because he wasn't going to have to be, surrounded by all the fans that hate him and like boo him. But it didn't matter because when he was going with the virtual draft, it didn't stop the fans from booing him virtually. So I thought that was pretty funny. He was just slacking, man. He was slacking. I think maybe the coronavirus got him a little bit, man. Who knows? Exactly. Like no one likes you. Like just stop trying to, stop trying to. He's asking for it, man. He's asking for it. But yeah, I just want to talk about a little bit Aaron Rodgers. Like I do believe it is the ideal situation for Jordan Love because he wasn't ready to contribute now. However, you give him a couple of years to develop, and he's going to become a star player in my opinion. He has a lot of potential. Now, with Aaron Rodgers, though, I really do believe it's the beginning of the end. And it's not a matter of if Aaron Rodgers will finish his career as a Packer. In my opinion, I think sooner than later, you're going to see Aaron Rodgers actually demand a trade out of Green Bay. And if you look even before the draft, he sent out a tweet, or I forgot where I saw this, but he was saying how he's hoping to get some talent alongside him, because he's never really had that much talent alongside him, because it's really him in himself, and the Green Bay. So, of course, Green Bay goes and they select Jordan Love, who literally plays his position. He is talented, but he plays Aaron Rodgers' position. He's a successor. And if you look, 15 years ago in 2005, this happened when the Green Bay selected Aaron Rodgers when their QB was Brett Favre. So now Jordan Love is playing the role of Aaron Rodgers when he was in 2005. So I just believe that it's very similar in my opinion to the Patriots situation with Tom Brady. I feel like with Aaron Rodgers, loyalty is lost, and I think he is destined to leave Green Bay at some point in the near future. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How old is Stephon Diggs? How old is Stephon Diggs? How old is Stephon Diggs? Do you know? Okay. Because I think in that kind of situation, you have to look at, is the team ready to win now? Do you really believe? I know you're a Buffalo Bills. I know you're a huge Buffalo Bills fan. Do you think they're ready to win now? The Bills. Oh. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. The Vikings definitely are a win now team, I feel like. Um, yeah. 100%. And actually, speaking of receivers, that actually goes right into my next winner, and that's actually Dak Prescott. And the Dallas Cowboys, there was a lot of speculation as to whether they were going to draft a QB, because as a result of all the contract negotiations struggles with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys with Jerry Jones. But they go ahead and they draft CD Lamb, I believe number 17, and he's one of the great. I feel like he's one of the best wide receivers in the draft, and I believe that he just gives Dak Prescott another piece, another weapon to use, another playmaker in that offense, already stacked offense with the O-line. He has one of the best running backs in the game, Ezekiel Elliott, and I just believe that now Dak Prescott really has no excuses now coming in next season. They got rid of the coach. They got rid of Jason Garrett. So now we'll see if Jason Garrett was the real problem. But now Dak Prescott has all the tools. I think this is going to be the year for Dak Prescott. And the ball it's really in his court, because if he doesn't perform, he's not going to get the big money. He's not going to get the big money. But if he does perform, he can get the big money. It's there for him. He has a fair chance. So I think he's definitely a winner in the draft. Yeah, I agree. And actually, we just got someone that tuned into our YouTube live and said, "Go Giants." So because of that, I have to talk about the New York Jets a little bit. Not that I, favor one team over the other, but I'm super happy about the New York Jets drafting Mekhi Becton, the O-line, and I really believe that he was necessary for the Jets. I feel like the Jets have been lacking, a dynamic O-line in recent years, and he's just gonna be a bodyguard for Sam Darnold. And not only being a bodyguard for Sam Darnold, which of course it's really important to have a great O-line to protect your QB, but now he's gonna help Le'Veon Bell as well as a running back. He's just a perfect fit. And this guy, I mean, he's a ridiculous athlete at 6'7", 364 pounds. But man, how fast is he? He is ridiculously fast. He ran 40 yards in under 5 seconds, I believe, or close to 5 seconds, subpar 5 seconds, I believe. Who hears of that? That's just crazy. Don't You start with the O line. You start with the basics. You start with the building blocks. Okay, real quick, I just got because you were saying why wide receivers, you never know when they're going to be good, so you can pick them in the fifth or sixth round. But here you are saying I'll pick the wide receiver in the first round with a top 15 pick when you have this guy Mekhi Becton, who's going to be an all-star, but yet you say they should have drafted a wide receiver. But then you were saying before that you never know when they're going to be good, so you can draft them whenever. You said Antonio Brown, sixth round. So why would you use a hit or miss pick instead of drafting, a superstar, a surefire, guy that can just give it to you on the O line, man? Correct. Anything else, Bills fan? As long as it's not a New York team. It just can't be the Jets or the Giants. But of course, you're Buffalo Bills. Oh, so you're just a Jets hater. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I would agree with that. And before we go on, I just want to say one more winner. What's up? What's up, Ian? Sorry. Yes. Um, One more thing, actually. Actually, before I say my winner, we actually got a question saying about Jalen Hurts going to the Eagles, and the guy wanted to know. The live caller wants to know is this does this mean that it's coming to an end with Carson Wentz? What do you think, Ian? Quickly. Yeah, I would agree. I don't think that pick hurts Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles in any sense. I think it actually helps because it's reassurance. Because obviously we've seen Carson Wentz; he's very injury prone, and when he goes down, in the past at least, he's had a backup in Nick Foles who won the Super Bowl that year. So now Nick Foles got traded. That was a while ago, but they need a backup, and I feel like Jalen Hurts is a great assurance option for Carson Wentz. Just to move on to my winner now, I just felt like I needed to say it. Miami Dolphins picking Tua at number 5. That was an amazing pick. And then, of course, there was speculation of, who are they going to pick? Were they going to pick another QB before Tua? But I feel like they wanted Tua the entire time, and they were just trying to stay low key about it. They were not because they didn't want to have to trade up to select Tua. So they got him at number 5. They tricked a lot of other teams into thinking that they weren't even sure if they were going to select him. But then they got him. He was there, and they got him. And they were tanking for him, in the season, and they didn't get too high of a pick, but they were able to get him at number 5. I thought that was really cool. I think Tua has too much upside to be passed on. I think he's going to be a great player in the NFL. Yeah, man. I mean, I already have enough dreams of mine ruined with the Knicks, so we're not even going to talk about that. Let's get on with the NFL. I feel like we've talked enough about the NFL draft. Let's begin to talk. Oh, no, no problem, no problem, man, no problem. I love the NFL, but me, I'm an NBA guy. I love the NBA, so we're gonna revisit the Raptors and Warriors matchup from last year. So we're doing this is purely a hypothetical. So obviously the Raptors won in 6 games. Kevin Durant got injured in Game 5 with a torn Achilles, and then Klay Thompson towards the end of Game 6 came out with the ACL. Ian, can you hear me well in here? All right, cool. Just making sure my earphone was acting up. Anyway, let's just say Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant are fully healthy against the Toronto Raptors. Who do you got in that series, Ian? Yeah. Iguodala too. Yeah, Iguodala was there. Yeah, I 100% agree, Ian. And I'm just glad because I know last segment we were here, last episode, you were saying, oh yeah, Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam, they're the greatest duo of the last decade. And I was like, Ian, I swear, if you said the Raptors again, I was going to have to chuck some hand sanitizer, man. I'm just being sarcastic, bro. I'm just being sarcastic. Just messing with you guys, just joking around. Anyway, answer simple. Golden State, of course. Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, when they're all fully healthy, they've never lost in the finals. They never lost in the playoffs. Okay, Ian. In 2017, the season where Kevin Durant joined the 73-win team, in 2017, the Warriors set the record for the least losses in the playoffs while winning the chip at 16-1. They only lost one game in 2017. Their closest matchup, I would say, was probably 2018 with James Harden and CP3. That was it. Other than that, there were no series. Now, what happened was last year in 2019, Kevin Durant goes down with the Achilles in Game 5. Now, when you lose Kevin Durant, think about this. You're not just going from Kevin Durant to like a Harrison Barnes, because when they first acquired Kevin Durant in 2017, they had to give up some role players, some depth on that team. They gave up Maurice Spates. They gave up Leonardo Barbosa. They lost David Lee. They gave up a lot for Kevin Durant, okay? So not only when you lose Kevin Durant, you're not only losing that top tier superstar, that MVP, you're also getting back. You're starting instead Cook. What's his name? Quinn Cook, sorry. So when you lose Kevin Durant, you're replacing him with Quinn Cook. And when Klay Thompson gets injured, you're replacing him with Sean Livingston. So think about this. If you're the Raptors, instead of playing a team featuring Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, you're really playing a team featuring Steph Curry, Sean Livingston, and Cook, Quinn Cook. That's the starting lineup you're facing. I don't know about you, Ian, but those are vastly different teams. Okay, so obviously, if the Warriors had Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, it is obvious that the Warriors would not only win, they would dominate over the Toronto Raptors. I don't agree with that, but okay. It was going to overtime then. It was going to overtime. Playoff Kawhi, man. Playoff Kawhi against Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, who choke in the playoffs every single season. There are, maybe one out of a million parallel universes. There's a chance. There's a chance I'm president of the United States one day. Ian, there's a chance that the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl next year. This is what you do in your free time. Yeah, exactly. And also when you think about the game six, Clay, even with Kevin Durant gets injured, okay. When Klay Thompson was playing game six, he was playoff Clay. He was when the Warriors have their back against the wall, Klay Thompson always comes through in the clutch. And he did against OKC in 2016 when Golden State was down 3-1 to OKC. And remember game six, they were in OKC and Klay Thompson went off. Well, he was doing that. He had 30 points in game six. They were up 83 to 80, and that's when he had that injury. And now, I have to say kudos to Klay Thompson for coming back out of the locker room and knocking down those two free throws. That was truly a class act. But if Klay Thompson doesn't go down then, I think they win game six. They're in Golden State. I think they win at Oracle Arena. Then they go back to Toronto, and they can even win without Kevin Durant. But it's like not only did they lose Kevin Durant, they lost Klay Thompson. Yeah, I agree. 100% agree. All right, guys. So let's get on to our last segment of the day. I know you don't see anything. It's just the Ballaholics logo, but actually, me and Ian are going to discuss our most underrated player, underappreciated NBA player of the last decade. Ian, you want to start? That's so nice of you, Ian. It's very nice seeing you defer. So I'm gonna say this before I get to my player, my one player. I feel like there's a couple players I just gotta shout out real quick. Shout out to wait, give me a sec. Sorry, I have a list here. I have a list right next to me. I have these papers because they're giving me my list. I made a list. So Mike Conley, of course, never been an All-Star, but he's been such an amazing player on the Memphis Grizzlies. He's humble. He's a class act. He's won multiple Sportsmen's of the Year. He's a Teammate of the Year award. He's a humble guy, and he doesn't get recognized because he's humble. And he's been to the playoffs. He's been to the playoffs with the Memphis Grizzlies, as far as I can remember, before ultimately going to the Utah Jazz. And then how about Luol Deng, who had 2 All-Star seasons with the Chicago Bulls in 2012, 2013. Had to shout out my boy Luol Deng. Brook Lopez, gotta shout you out too. I'm throwing you back, right? Okay. Picture this scene, okay? So, you're James Harden. You play on the OKC Thunder. You are a 6th man of the year. You're asked to come off the bench because there's too much firepower that's starting. So they need someone off the bench to give buckets. So James Harden does his role. He wins Sixth Man of the Year in 2012 and helps elevates his team to the NBA Finals against LeBron James and the Miami Heat. And then when they lose, he wants a big contract. And OKC at this point, they can pay him, but they don't because they don't want to go over the luxury tax. So instead of signing James Harden, and not to mention, you could have even got rid of Kendrick Perkins. They literally chose Kendrick Perkins over James Harden. Okay? James Harden goes to the Houston Rockets. The Rockets didn't make the playoffs for the past 3 seasons before that. In his first season with the Houston Rockets in 2013, brings the Rockets back to the playoffs, and they would make the playoffs every single season until now. James Harden, every single year, is in the MVP conversation, but it's always someone else. He can never be the first guy. It's always second or third, if you notice. 2015, 2016, Steph Curry he's going against. Then after that, 2017, Russell Westbrook. 2018, he finally gets the recognition he deserves because his team is the number 1 team in the West and he's putting up his glamoring stats. But I feel like the story always changes with James Harden because in 2017 with Russell Westbrook, we said, oh, he's putting up, his team has a better record than Russell Westbrook, but his stats aren't there. Or Russell Westbrook has better stats. But now with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and it's like, Giannis Antetokounmpo's team has a better record than James Harden. We just keep hating on James Harden. We can't get enough of James Harden. James Harden, last season, or 2 seasons ago, averaged 36 points a game. That hasn't been done since Kobe Bryant, maybe, or Michael Jordan. And look, James Harden, the reason why I get so much hate is because, it's because he's always at the free throw line. How about we all just take a moment and just appreciate James Harden's greatness? It's an art. It's a science. No one can do what James Harden does. It's his step back. It's so creative because no other NBA player can do the step back like James Harden. It's his move. It's his signature move. I love it. It doesn't go against the rules at all. It's completely fine. And the fact that he gets so much hate, he went from a 6th Man of the Year to an MVP. Who does that? Who does that, Ian? James Harden is the most underappreciated scorer and one of the most underrated players. Not to mention that he almost dethroned the Golden State Warriors featuring Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Klay Thompson. One of the greatest teams to ever be assembled in NBA history. James Harden is the most underappreciated player of the last decade. I got it. Say the numbers again. I'm listening. They're close enough. Solid team. Solid team. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying. I can't disagree with that pick. I believe Damian Lillard definitely is there. I just feel like James Harden has done so many things, and people don't appreciate it enough. Like, Damian Lillard, no doubt, is an all-star, and he's a phenomenal player, and he is underrated. I mean, last year, he went to the Western Conference Finals. He beat the Denver Nuggets and the San Antonio Spurs. So, and he leads his team, and he's definitely got snubbed of plenty of all-star games. But I just feel like James Harden has gotten so much hate, and I think it's just purely because he's just unlikable. James Harden, it's hard to like him. Maybe if you put James Harden in Los Angeles, maybe he would have the respect. Maybe it's because he's in Houston. Maybe if you switched Kobe Bryant and James Harden, you put James Harden in LA, maybe James Harden would be more popular. I don't know what it is, but James Harden continues to get slept on as just not likable. But he is one of the all-time greats. Yeah. I think the biggest thing you could take from James Harden is people say that he chokes in the playoffs, but I believe that if you came 7 games to dethroning the Golden State Warriors, featuring a team with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, Are you really choking that much? Are you really choking if you got that close? I mean, that's the closest they've ever been. And then of course with Damian Lillard, I agree. He's definitely underrated, and even what he did against OKC. Sorry, my mic's acting up. Okay. Even what he did against OKC, hitting that game winner. I mean, Damian Lillard, he has ice blood. You know, he's ice cold. He hits the daggers, and he loves it. I mean, did you remember when he hit that shot against OKC? He just, no laughs, no anything. He just, yup. Yeah, he's a cold-blooded assassin. Um, yeah, it's tough. Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I also think that Damian Lillard is the closest thing to Steph Curry. If Steph Curry was someone else, like Damian Lillard is the closest thing, just because he has limitless range. And one of the other things against Damian Lillard is if you look at his stats, he doesn't average like a double-double or anything. But if you actually watch the games where he plays, he's always making the right pass. He's always making the right pass. He's always elevating the performance of his teammates, and I think that's something to be said for that. I think Lillard is a team player. He's humble. He's a good guy, and he might just stay in Portland just because of that. He might not even want to leave Portland. He's one of those very few players that I actually envision staying in Portland his entire career. And maybe that will lead to him being continuously being underrated. But I don't know if it really bothers him, honestly. I think he embraces being the underdog and being in Portland. No, you're right. Yeah. I agree. And before we also finish, I just feel like there's someone else I gotta bring up because you know me, I bleed blue and orange, and that player is Carmelo Anthony. And I'm not saying that he's amazing and he's won titles and everything like that.
Hi, I'm comedian Dion Cole.
However,
most of you know
Melo gets so much hate. He gets so much hate for being overrated
today I'm not
that ironically he's actually underrated in my opinion.
As a concerned member of the black community.
I think he's underrated.
The news is
calling
this a global
like 2012,
pandemic,
2013,
but our community has been hit the hardest.
He's scoring champion.
Predominantly black counties have infection rates 3 times higher than white ones.
James. Like,
that's why Old Spice and United Way have stepped up to provide relief to communities of color like my hometown Chicago and my Old Spice brother Terry Crews' hometown Flint. Things might be tough right now, but there's no one tougher than us.
And I think if he was drafted to a better team, I mean, imagine him getting drafted to the Detroit Pistons. How many rings would he have there, man? Well, that's ridiculous.
Anthony, met by James. Carmelo Anthony with a big bucket.
That's why I said anytime I need a basket, I want the ball to go to Carmelo because he's going to get a shot.
Is that his fault? He's a little old then.
It's going nowhere. Jumper, good move, but couldn't finish. Anthony has to hoist it up. And hits a three-pointer from way downtown as the shot clock expires.
To begin the evening, and we talked a little bit as Shumpert goes with a big two-hander. The Knicks continue to take it right to the Hawks, who look like they are a bit hungover after last night.
Might commit the foul anyway. Crowd getting on its feet. 5 seconds. Anthony fires the three. Bang! Carmelo Anthony ties the game with 2.3 remaining.
Yeah. Most overrated player? That's a tough one. I'm gonna sleep on that one for now because I just want to talk about another underrated player. I think Chris Bosh. I think Chris Bosh is completely underrated. The fact that how much did he have to sacrifice joining D Wade and LeBron James in Miami? He had a reduction in scoring, reduction in rebounds, and his main focus of his game, he used to get his points from posting inside, but he really had to try and develop a jump shot in order to create space so D Wade and LeBron could drive inside. If you also think about it, Chris Bosh, people say that Ray Allen saved LeBron's legacy, but Ray Allen wouldn't have even gotten that shot had Chris Bosh not gotten that rebound. Once Chris Bosh got the rebound, then he dished it out to Ray Allen, who hit the shot that we all remember in Game 6 in 2013 with the Miami Heat against the San Antonio Spurs. So I believe Chris Bosh is super underrated. And then once LeBron left, we saw how good Chris Bosh was because his points went up. He started averaging over 20 points. He was named an All-Star. He led the Heat with Dwayne Wade to a playoff berth that year. And Chris Bosh is a great player, and I wish that people didn't sleep on him as much. You also take into consideration his defense. His defense, he didn't average the most points, but his defense was felt in that team, and that's a huge reason why Miami was able to go on and win a couple of championships. I have it. Easy. Okay, I think it's Kyrie Irving. I think Kyrie Irving is the most overrated player. And I love Kyrie. He's fun to watch. He's acrobatic. He's an all-star. But Kyrie Irving, wherever he goes, the team doesn't perform. When he excels, the team doesn't excel. When he thrives, the team doesn't thrive. So I believe that Kyrie Irving, and people act like he's one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game. I don't believe so. I think he's the most overrated player in the NBA in the past decade. I'm not saying he's not smart. I'm not saying he's a bad person or anything like that. I'm just saying I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. That's all. Yeah, exactly. Appreciate you guys tuning in and watching our second YouTube live. If you weren't here for the live show, but you're watching now, thank you for watching. Really appreciate you guys tuning in to the show. Make sure to show some love on our Instagram, Ballaholics _BTV6. Once again, we're still working on getting us live callers so you guys can call into the show. It's something that I have to be working on. I've just been a little busy with schoolwork, but really appreciate you guys tuning in and have a good one. Signing off.